Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, we get to hear from Josh Meyer. He's the head of sales for Bumble Roofing. Josh and I have been working together for a few years now. We serve on a networking group together. He's just a great guy, so I'm so excited to bring him on the stage to talk about this company. Here we go. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for carving out some time with me today.
Yeah, man, anything for you.
I really enjoyed your presentation a couple weeks ago at our leads group. As you know, those leads groups are part of the chamber. We've got about 3 of them. And each time we get to learn a little bit more of a deep dive into the members of those groups' businesses. What I really like is learning about the people. And now it's kind of a tradition now that when you get a chance to present at that group, you share your story. And so why don't we start off with you a little bit right now? Give us the condensed version today, a little bit about your background and history of work that led you into I'll call it the construction industry.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a tale as old as time, right? So I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. Third generation Marine, me, my brother, my father, and my great grandfather. Did that until about June of 2001. Left there, got myself involved, as most guys do in the military, into law enforcement. You know, I look good in uniform. And did that for about 7 years up in Pierce County, Washington. Made 2 episodes of Cops from my time there. And then from there, I just had this there was a big kind of drastic shift in my life. And I found myself in sales, which I never thought I would do. Found myself business cold calling for the National Federation of Independent Businesses, which was amazing to get into. But yeah, started doing that, driving around a ton of places and not making a whole lot of money because of my first job in sales, like most salespeople. Landed on with Sears Home Improvements before they went bankrupt. And that's really where I kind of cut my teeth in sales and really dived into it and really honed my skill set. And through there, I learned roofing, siding, windows, flooring, kitchens, bathrooms, heating and cooling, entry doors, pretty much almost every aspect of a home improvement you could do. And from there, once Sears went bankrupt, unfortunately, worked my way into outdoors. So I was doing patio covers and decks and railings and minor electrical stuff, which was just some amazing, beautiful work. I was so proud of the work that was being done. It was absolutely beautiful. That was a height of COVID though, and I found it was really hard, despite my skill set. It's kind of hard to sell a deck over Zoom, right? It's definitely something you need to like sit down and sit on the deck and really kind of feel that, kind of picture it. So I wanted to get in something a bit more sustainable that I could do all year round everywhere. And got into residential solar. And so sold a ton of solar in 5 different states, allowed me to travel to Texas, Oregon, California. I've never been to Fresno. Fresno's great, right? Worked at the kind of the Dallas area of Texas, early winter. I mean, it was beautiful. And that's actually what brought me here to Idaho, was to do residential solar. And I came here for a visit for about 2 weeks. Had a great time. It was super cold. It was December. I remember knocking on doors and it was 23 degrees outside. But I tell you what, man, it was so beautiful. So beautiful. And it was winter, but it was a different kind of winter than I was used to. So fast forward 2 more years. Company wanted to open office here in Idaho, and I jumped on board. Moved my whole family down here, got the trailer and everything. And I've been here ever since, about 4 or 5 years. Unfortunately, like a lot of solar companies, that company did go bankrupt. And so I decided to kind of fall back on my roots and the things that I know, which was exteriors and home improvements, and landed here with Bumble Roofing.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Josh. Well, with that type of experience, absolutely a roofing company would love to have you. And so tell us about your role now with Bumble before we get into the Bumble story.
Yeah, so with Bumble, we're a smaller organization, which I really, really like. I've been part of that big national chain of Sears and multiple state stuff. I like being local, being small, being able to focus on each individual client. I'm the head of sales, so my responsibilities are lead generation, procurement, consultations, roof assessments, pricing, and ultimately sale, and then project management as well as the project moves forward.
I've had a lot of conversations with you about roofs, probably too many. But one thing I really enjoy about you is I would trust you to tell me how it is, right? With no fluff, the reality. Hey, you know what? You can get a repair and it'll last you a couple years. Or you know what? Your roof is ready. Or you've got another 5 years on this bad boy. So
Yep.
help me elevate that message.
Yeah, I mean, I just what I've learned over time about myself is that I have a heart to serve, right? From the military to being a cop and then into this, I just have a heart to serve and I want to help people out. Okay. So everything I do comes from that kind of mind frame of I want to help you in your current situation. If this is the forever house that drag me out in a pine box house, then great. Let's get you a really, really good quality roof up there that's going to last 50 years and you're going to be set. Hey, man, you're selling the house in 6 months because the kids just graduated high school, right? And you're downsizing. Cool. Let's just get you a roof, right? Let's get you something that'll pass by for now. It'll last a couple of years for the new buyer. They're not buying anything bad either. You can rest easy and know that it's taken care of, but you're not, it's not all the bells and whistles. Or look, I'll be honest with you, I've been on food stamps in my life. Okay. I know what it's like to not have funds, but yet you have to get a home improvement done. So yeah, let's look at a repair. Maybe it'll get you by for now and you can, make it up on the back end later. I'm happy to do that. And there are some times when I tell us like, hey, your roof is fine. That's fine. I'm not here to sell something you don't need, or don't necessarily want. So it doesn't make sense for me to push something on you don't want, because that just leads to bad reviews and bad experiences. And I like you said, because I give it to you straight. And the reality is, Paul, with my background, especially like law enforcement stuff, I'm not afraid of a no. If it doesn't make sense for you right now, cool. That's great. Tell me no. That's fine. Knock on wood, so far, nobody's pulled a knife on me when I told them the roof is going to be $35,000. Like it's been great. So I'm not worried about that. And that frees up my emotional capacity and my mindset to go, oh, I'm thinking about it. Well, is it a yes or a no? Like, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And if it does, it does. And that's fine,
I love it. I love it, Josh. The company that has you right now is Bumble Roofing, and they're relatively new to the area, but they're not new nationally. So tell us a little bit about their origin story, and what's the Bumblebee logo all about?
Yeah. So David Buten is the founder. Back in 2019, he founded Bumble Roofing out in California. He has a long history of, construction, project management, a lot of commercial stuff. But he really wanted to kind of get into like the individual housing market and run his own thing. And so he partnered with a couple of guys and they created Bumble Roofing. And then out of California, they started growing and expanding. And the idea was honesty, transparency, and ease, right? We just wanted to make it as easy as possible to get this done. So, we don't do a lot of bells and whistles. We don't do a 4.5 hour presentation in your home, and we don't obfuscate on our pricing. It's very direct. It's very simple. I can send a proposal via email. We can do virtual if you don't want us to come out to the house. Like, we want to make it as easy as possible. From there, Bumble started making a bit of traction, and they started franchising out, and they were approached by a group called Empower Brands. Empower Brands is a group of franchises together, and through Empower is what led them to be able to help boost the amount of money that we were donating to certain charities. One of those being the Xerxes Society, and the Xerxes Society is a not-for-profit for the conservation of invertebrates, also known as bees, right? Because if we don't have bees, we all die. So that's a simple thing. So a portion of all of our proceeds every year, and this is franchise wide across the nation. We donate to the Xerxes Society to help facilitate and keep bees going.
Cool story. Like that
Yeah.
is, I'm surprised you know it so well. The Xerxes
Yeah.
conservation effort, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I love learning how brands get their image, right? But not only the bees, but you guys invest in your communities as well. Help me understand a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Jim Smith, he's the owner. He's a big part of Idaho Two Fly, which is an organization that helps promote fishing all throughout Idaho and fly fishing in particular. And every year they do a big banquet and they donate a fishing trip, a guided fishing trip to someone in need. And they do that every year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and Josh, also, you're a member of the chamber, so you're investing in your community that way, and I think that's
Yep.
important. All right, let's talk about the different services now. As a homeowner, right? I just want my roof to prevent the rain to come through,
Yep.
and hopefully the snow and ice doesn't come through as well. Tell us a little bit about the breadth of services that you provide.
Yeah, so we start real simple. I mean, the number one thing is just a free consultation. I don't really care how old your roof is. I'm going to come out and I'll take a look at it for you. So I can give you a current, if we talk current, like a state of the union on your roof, right? How much time it's been on there, how much time you have left, and maybe a ballpark of what it's going to be down the line, and how you can expect that roof to perform over time. And maybe if you're a handy guy, which I'm generally not, but if you're a handy guy and you can do the repairs yourself, great. I'll tell you what you need to have done and things that you can keep an eye on. There's also some options we have as far as like maintenance goes. If you're a good candidate for that, where we can help facilitate some sort of coating that goes on the roof and gets just kind of stops the clock for you a little bit. And then from there we look at repairs, right? So we start small and work our way up. A repair could be anything from a broken pipe boot, a broken J vent, some shingles flew off in a storm, tree branch came down, or like this couple I met yesterday, they're in their 80s. They had a 4th-generation farm out in Wilder. They needed to downsize for medical, so they bought a place out here in Middleton. The roof's only 2 years old, and it's got a leak. And I shared with them, I'm like, I saw what the issue was. I took some photos of it and I sent it to my roofer as well. I told him, I'm like, I've been in roughly 8,000 plus homes at this point. I have never seen what these builders did. I've never seen it, and neither has my roofers. None of them have ever seen anything similar to this. So who knows? I don't know if it was their last job of the day, right? And they just kind of skedaddled out and just didn't finish it. I have no idea. But for them, little repair, it's about $2,000 or so, and the roof's gonna be fine. It'll serve what they need, and that's what I like to do, right? Fit that kind of need. And then if the roof is bad enough, or honestly, like you kind of mentioned it earlier, if the cost of repair is 15 to 20% of the cost of a re-roof, let's look at the re-roof, right? Because the reality is you're probably going to be doing it in a couple of years. And, I'm looking at a price increase in April from the manufacturers of anywhere from 6 to 10%. I just got the email the other day. So there's a legitimate cost to waiting on doing your roof. So, then maybe we look at a re-roof, and I'll present both options to you. If you want to do the repair, that's fine. If you want to do the re-roof, we'll look at the re-roof as well. And then a re-roof, we look at, full tear off removal, haul away disposal, everything down to the decking. Everything on your roof is brand new. And I guess the benefit of me and my history is every product that goes onto your roof ties in with the other products. Everything goes the way it's supposed to go. And if there's any sort of manufacturer warranties or guarantees, you get all of those based on how it was installed. And I make sure that that's what happens.
Josh, that's incredible. We talked about residential roofing. You talked a little bit about emergency services with the wind, taking out stuff. You talked about inspection. There's a roof maintenance program. I have a question about that. And then I also have a question about commercial. Do you guys do commercial?
We'll do some light commercial here and there, mostly, TPO, a little bit of torch down, but primarily metal. Commercial, little different skill set required, little different materials, but yeah, with smaller jobs, gas station here and there, or a small shop or something, we can handle that for sure.
Okay.
But primarily our bread and butter is residential retail.
Okay. And then one more thing, that roof maintenance program, what's that?
Yeah. So Ben Frank, best time to plant a tree was yesterday, right? Second best time to plant the tree is today. Best time to take a look at your roof was yesterday. Second best time to look at it is today. Anything can happen on a roof. And what ends up happening is most people, they wait. I'm going to wait, I'll wait. It's not leaking. It's not leaking. Well, by the time you notice a leak, Paul, that leak could have been there for 6 months or more. Like 6 months or more. And that little brown stain that's on your drywall and the ceiling doesn't look like a lot. Think of all the insulation that's up above that's been absorbing water in a warm, dark environment. Okay. So the idea is get ahead of it, get to it quick before it turns into further damage later on. And so we developed our roof maintenance plan, for a small fee based on the size of the roof and the pitch and whatnot. I'll come out twice a year, usually in the springtime and in the fall, right? So before we get the heat and before we get the cold, and I'll give the roof a once over. And, if it's little things, you got some nails popped up, I'll tap those back in place. If you need some sealant put in some places, we'll cover that. No problem. Little minor repairs, those can be taken care of at that time, at no additional cost. But if we discover like, hey, there's a massive problem here and it does need a full repair, then we'll reduce the cost of that repair based on what you've already committed for the maintenance plan. But it's just a nice, like, easy, rest assured way that somebody's going to come out and take a look at your roof for you. You don't have to, bug your husband about getting up on the roof, or worry about your husband up on the roof and on a ladder.
Well, and then you'll kind of take some of those leaves out of my gutter while you're up there too, right?
Yeah, for sure. We'll help you with that honey-do list.
Thanks, Josh. All right, buddy. Hey, thanks for all you do. Thanks for your membership with the chamber. Is there anything else that you'd like to educate the listeners on while we have you today?
Honestly, man, when I joined in with the chamber, I initially thought like joining the chamber was just kind of a thing that businesses did just to get the plaque. Oh, we're a chamber approved company. But honestly, man, the more time I've spent with it, I've been really, really impressed with the breadth that you guys go to when it does come to businesses within the Valley here, within Boise in particular. And I now have access to people within the business community that I would otherwise normally never have access to, right? Like I've rubbed elbows with some really, really important people. I've met people at businesses that are way, way bigger than ours, and had the chance to kind of converse with them and talk with them, and also get my own message out there as well. So, really pleased with all that. And I gotta say, the after hours events, the food is always fantastic. So
awesome. Josh, thanks for that testimonial. It is recorded. I will play it tomorrow. Thanks for all you do, buddy. Thanks. Tell the Bumble team, tell Jim, thanks for the membership. And I look forward to next Wednesday when I get to see you at our networking group.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bye, Josh.
Bye, guys.